Hello Yates County and beyond. Welcome back to another episode of Invasive Species Friday. Through this short weekly podcast, we at the Yates CCE hope to bring you information about the invasive species you may see around this county. We're filling the pasture with this week's invasive, brown knapweed. Native to Europe, brown knapweed was brought to North America as forage, or food for horses or cattle. The problem is the plant isn't very tasty, so animals tend to avoid it when anything else is available. This knapweed then escaped cultivation and began its invasion. The plant has since been found in the Northeast, Midwest, and Western states. It's tolerant of shade, but it thrives in sunny, cool, moist conditions. It does prefer open, disturbed areas like ditches, pastures, and grasslands. Brown knapweed is a perennial that grows up to 4 feet tall. The first year, the plant remains close to the ground as a rosette. In the second and subsequent years, it grows upright flowering stems that are reddish in color and branch near the top. In midsummer until fall, pink or purple flowers bloom at the end of the branches. They're actually composite flower heads, meaning they're made up of a bunch of tiny single flowers clustered together. The base of the flower head is surrounded by scale-like bracts. The flowers give way to light brown seeds with fine hairs in the fall. Alternating along the stem of the knapweed, there are lance-shaped, hairy leaves with occasionally wavy or lobed margins. The leaves at the base of the plant can reach up to 10 inches long, but the leaves become smaller as you travel up the stem. Heading the other way, the brown knapweed saplings have a taproot with a woody crown that develops a cluster of roots below it as it matures. Brown knapweed reproduces from both seed and the root crown. On top of crowding out native species and thus reducing wildlife habitat, brown knapweed can overtake grasslands and fields, reducing the amount of forage available for grazers. It also reduces the quality of hay field yields. Large infestations increase erosion and water runoff, which decreases soil quality. Furthermore, brown knapweed can also crossbreed with the invasive black and spotted knapweeds. The resulting hybrids are even more vigorous in their spread. The best way to prevent the spread of brown knapweed and its hybrids is by stopping the transport of seeds. Though they can be moved by water and wildlife as well, knapweed seeds are easily transported by humans in either contaminated soil or by getting stuck to vehicles and equipment. Remember to play clean go to stop invasives in your tracks. Remove all plants, animals, and mud from yourself, your vehicle, and your gear, and stay on designated roads and trails when you're on your adventures. Visit playcleango.org for more information. For already established small infestations, hand pulling or digging is an option, but the plant's taproot can be stubborn and you need to remove the entire crown and as much of the root as possible. It's not recommended that you try to mow the knapweed, especially after the seeds are mature. Herbicides are the most effective control method currently, especially if a systemic formula is used in the first year of growth. There are also a couple of species of gall flies that feed on the developing seed heads, and while they won't eradicate the infestation, they do reduce seed production. As with many of the invasive plants we talked about on this podcast, any treatment areas should be monitored in the following years until the seed bank is depleted. To finish up today's episode, there are no native knapweeds in the US, but we have mentioned several species today, and we're going to take a brief look at how to differentiate a few of them. The easiest way to tell them apart is by the bracts, the modified leaves at the base of the flower. In the case of the knapweeds, they look like layered scales. Brown knapweed bracts are wide and rounded at the tip, appearing papery and ragged. Spotted knapweed has dark-colored triangular spots at the tips of each bract. Black knapweed bracts are mostly dark-colored, and their margins have stiff, black, comb-like fringe. Meadow knapweed, the most common hybrid variety in the US, can be very similar to the brown species. However, each meadow bract has a thin fringe on its margins. And finally, the Canada thistle we discussed earlier this season can also be a lookalike to the brown knapweed. These can be quickly differentiated by looking for the spiny leaves and stems characteristic of thistles. And with that, we reach the end of this week's episode of Invasive Species Friday. Next Friday, we're back with a flying pest with a taste for brassica crops. Until then, we at the Yates CCE thank you for tuning in and supporting our fight against invasive species in Yates County.